welcome back to Actual English, everyone. I'm Jennifer Clyde. It's time for lesson 360. Wow, we've come a long way, right? And today's topic is Happiness 1, which means we'll have a chance to listen to what Gareth and Kelly have to say about what happiness means to them today. And the next time, we're joined by Martin and Mary, and they'll be telling us about what happiness means to them in part 2 of happiness. Well, first of all, let's talk about, or a little bit about happiness. What does happiness mean to you? Okay, what is true happiness? We all have different definitions, different thoughts, opinions about things, and even happiness, right? Different things bring us happiness. So what makes you happy? Is it to have all the money in the world? Does succeeding in what you do, such as work, mean happiness to you? Or does it just mean to be able to live happily ever after, live healthily, and happily with your family, to be with your loved ones, to have everything you want in the world? I mean, what really is happiness to you? Think about that as we begin with our first segment. Okay, let's take you straight to Actual Talk.
Gareth, I'm going to hit you with a hard question that I've been thinking about for a while, and not a lot of people find this easy to answer, but when you think about being happy, like not just being successful, but true happiness, what is that to you?
Good question. I've thought a lot about this. For me, true happiness comes from within, I think. So I think you've got to feel very relaxed, for me anyway, feel relaxed and calm and content and very much in the moment, living in the, here and now. So I think for me, it's a state of mind, not so much, what you do, but how you feel and who you're with. So, yeah.
Living in the present.
Yes.
And it wouldn't matter where you were or what you'd done, your success level.
Not really, no. I think it's very much a feeling, and a feeling connected with, your true self, who you are, and feeling at ease, and then spending simple time. For example, having a meal with my wife and just talking or laughing. But it very much, for me, I think true happiness, it must come from within, not other people. You must be happy within and feel content and relaxed and connected. Yeah.
Well, for me,
how about you?
Yes, I spent a lot of time on this one, and I thought I want to be able to look back on my life, because I realized one day, oh my gosh, life is short. I may actually die someday, but I don't like to think that. Yeah. And I want to think that I spent every moment well. So I guess that does kind of coincide with your living in the moment.
Yes.
But to really make the most of every moment, and not to neglect to do things and to try new things because of fear or thinking I'll have more time. I think that I would be happy if I'd known I'd done that.
Yeah.
And of course we all want to be good people.
Of course, yeah.
Gareth sure sounds like he's a very down-to-earth guy. He's not too difficult to please, right? He just sounds like a really kind guy that never seems to, complain about anything. Sounds like a great husband. Okay, anyhow, we had Gareth and Kelly talking about what happiness means to them, so let's take a look. Here we go. Kelly says, Gareth, I'm going to hit you with a hard question. Okay, let's take a look at this. Hit you with a hard question. She's not saying, I'm going to hit you hard. No, I'm going to hit you with a hard question, meaning I'm going to ask you something. To hit somebody with something could mean to physically hit somebody with something, okay? But here, hit someone with a question basically means to ask a question. So hit means to ask. Here she's saying, I'm going to ask you a difficult question, a hard question. Not a lot of people find this easy to answer, meaning a lot of people find this question difficult to answer. But when you think about being happy, not just being successful, but true happiness. Okay? She's asking, think about true happiness. What is that to you? What is true happiness to you? Okay? Gareth says, good question. I've thought a lot about this. I've thought a lot about that question. And he says, for me, for Gareth personally, he says, true happiness comes from within. Okay. It comes from within. Come from within. We often say, this comes from my heart. This comes from within, inside you, okay? So he says that true happiness comes from within, meaning that it's not acquired from outside things. You can't buy happiness. Somebody cannot give you happiness. It's what you find in yourself, within yourself, okay? And he says, so I think you've got to feel very relaxed and calm and content and very much in the moment. Okay, so I've checked relaxed, calm, content, and in the moment. You have to feel these things and, well, you will be happy, he says. So relaxed is easy, calm is easy. What about content? That's a vocab word for today. Now, content. Table of contents. The contents of this drink. The contents of this book. The contents of something. No, stress goes on the first syllable in that case, right? Content. But here, we're talking about feeling content. Stress goes on the second syllable. It means to be satisfied, to be happy with what is or what you have, and not to want anything else. So if you're satisfied with your situation, with what you have, you can say that you feel content. You feel happy, satisfied, content, and very much in the moment. So you're not thinking about the past. You're not thinking about the future. You're appreciating this moment, the present moment, okay? Got it? And so he says, so for me, it's a state of mind, not so much what you do, but how you feel and who you're with. Okay, how you feel and who you're with. So this is happiness to Gareth, okay? He says, once again, it is a state of mind. This is our pattern for today. State of mind, okay? It's basically, simply put, your mood, the way you feel. In philosophy, state of mind basically means your thought, okay? Your mood, your feelings. Those all are what we call state of mind. So he says, it's not about what you do, okay? It's not about all those activities. It's not about your job, for example, what you do for a living. It is about how you feel, okay? Whether you feel content, satisfied, relaxed, okay? And who you are with. That's most important to Gareth. Now, Kelly says, living in the present, as I told you, to be in the moment. Yes, and it wouldn't matter where you were or what you had done. Your success level, okay? So she's asking, these things would not matter. And what did Gareth say? He said, not really, no. Those things don't matter. And he gives an example. For example, having a meal with my wife and just talking or laughing. This is most important to Gareth. This is what makes him happy. Just him and his wife having dinner, having a meal, lunch, breakfast, just being able to be together and to sit together, to eat together, to be able to talk with each other and to laugh with each other. That is what brings him happiness, okay? And he says, but very much for me, true happiness, it must come from within, as I told you, within yourself, not other people. Happiness is not what other people can give you. You need to find it within yourself. You must be happy within and feel content and relaxed and connected. Okay, we took a look at content, meaning what? Happy, satisfied, relaxed, we know. And he adds feel connected. So this is another one of our patterns for today. Now, if you connect something, you are linking something, okay? You're combining something, linking something, right? You're joining something. But when you feel connected with someone, for example, or to somebody, you're saying that you feel a connection, a bond. You feel very comfortable with that person. You feel that he or she will understand everything about you. You can talk about anything with that person. Just being with that person is the best feeling in the world. Some people even say that feeling connected, it's like tasting the best chocolate in the world. It's such a great feeling, okay? We'll practice that later on as well. And then Kelly says, good advice. Now we ask Kelly, what about you? Okay, here we go. I spent a lot of time on this one. Spend a lot of time on this. What is she talking about? She's talking about having to spend a lot of time on this question. She's saying, I spent a lot of time thinking about this question. What is true happiness? Okay, and she answers, I want to be able to look back on my life. Okay. Look back or look back on something means to what? Think about the past. Okay. Bring up past thoughts. Think about what happened in the past. Look back. Look back. Okay. And she says, because I realized one day life is short. Okay. And she says, I want to think that I spent every moment well. Okay, so what is she saying in this sentence? Simply put, she's saying that she does not want to have any regrets. She wants to live every moment, spend every moment of her life well, okay, without any regrets. And she says, so I guess that does kind of coincide with your living in the moment. Now, you're living in the moment because Gareth kept on saying to be in the moment, feel in the moment, live in the moment. So she's saying, come to think of it. Yeah, I guess, that does coincide with what you're saying. Coincide means what? In this case, it means to agree, as in thought or opinion. There is an agreement. It agrees. It is similar to or the same as what you're saying, living in the moment. And then she says, to really, okay, to help you understand, I added, I want to really make the most of every moment, not neglect. Neglect is what? To pay no attention to, or to pay little attention to. You can neglect a person, which means to pay no attention to. Ignore, for example. But she does not want to neglect to do things, okay? So she wants to take every opportunity, take that chance and do everything she can. And she wants to, make sure that she does not neglect to try new things because of fear. So here she's saying, I will not let fear get in the way. I will not let fear stop me from doing things that I want to do. New things, that is, in this case. So I guess they are agreeing on some things, but Gareth really has made a point about how, for him, true happiness comes from within. It's not something that other people can give you. It's not something that you could buy, but it's what you can find within yourself. Okay, so that brings us to an end to today's actual talk conversation between the two. Let's take a listen to it one more time.
Gareth, I'm going to hit you with a hard question that I've been thinking about for a while, and not a lot of people find this easy to answer, but when you think about being happy, like not just being successful, but true happiness, what is that to you?
Good question. I've thought a lot about this. For me, true happiness comes from within, I think. So I think you've, got to feel very relaxed, for me anyway, feel relaxed and calm and content and very much in the moment, living in the, here and now. So I think for me, it's a state of mind, not so much, what you do, but how you feel and who you're with. So, yeah.
Living in the present.
Yes.
And it wouldn't matter where you were or what you'd done, your success level.
Not really, no. I think it's very much a feeling, and a feeling connected with, your true self, who you are, and feeling at ease, and then spending simple time. For example, having a meal with my wife and just talking or laughing. But it very much, for me, I think true happiness, it must come from within, not other people. You must be happy within and feel content and relaxed and connected. Yeah.
Well, for me,
How about you?
Yes, I spent a lot of time on this one, and I thought, I want to be able to look back on my life because I realized one day, oh my gosh, life is short, I may actually die someday, but I don't like to think that. Yeah. And I want to think that I spent every moment well. So I guess that does kind of coincide with your living in the moment.
Yes.
But to really make the most of every moment, and not to neglect to do things and to try new things because of fear or thinking I'll have more time. I think that I would be happy if I'd known I'd done that.
Yeah.
And of course, we all want to be good people.
Of course, yeah.
Welcome back, everyone. Did you enjoy the second listen to today's actual talk? Okay, then, let's take you straight to actual expressions. In this segment, we get to take a look at some vocab words and patterns taken straight from the actual talk conversation. We've got 3 words for you. First of all, this word, conten. How do you pronounce it? That's right, content. Okay, content. We're talking about feeling satisfied, feeling pleased, and happy. Okay, content. If you say, I'm content, it means I'm happy. I'm satisfied with something. I'm content. I'm content. Okay, what about coincide? Here we go. Coincide. Coincide. Coexist. Co is together, right? Co. Exist together. Coexist. Correspond. Today we were talking about an agreement. It means to agree in thought or opinion, for example. Okay? Thoughts can coincide, which means to agree, to be the same. Neglect. Neglect means what? To pay no attention to ignore, or pay just a little bit of attention to. So some synonyms are discard, disregard. This one's a good one. Overlook. Okay, if you overlook something, you're not really paying 100% attention to it. You're saying, okay, you're only paying a little attention to it. Okay, now these are vocab words. Now let's move on to our patterns for today. Here we go. Hit someone. Not hit, not punch, but with a question. Means to hit someone with a question, to ask someone something. Here we go. People started to hit the professor with all sorts of questions. Meaning, people started to ask the professor many questions. So when you say ask somebody a question or questions, you would say, people asked the professor all sorts of questions. People asked the professor all sorts of questions. But when you say hit questions, you must include with. So people hit the professor with all sorts of questions. Let's do the sentence one more time. People started to hit the professor with all sorts of questions. Good job. Moving on to state of mind. As I told you, especially in philosophy, we're talking about state of mind as in your feelings, your mood, your thoughts, your emotions, okay? I'm in a happier state of mind ever since I started a new job, okay? You can be in a happy state of mind, which means to feel happy. All right? Okay, what about to feel connected to somebody, or also to feel a connection with someone? Okay, so feel connected to someone or feel a connection with someone. Okay, we're talking about having chemistry, having that special bond, connection. Okay, something very special. We felt a strong connection with one another the moment we met. A very strong, which means a very good connection. We felt a strong connection with one another, for each other, the moment we met. Okay? So you're saying there was chemistry. There was something very special between us when we first met. Okay, and let's move on to our final one. To look back on something. Look back. You're looking back into the past, right? So you're returning into the past. Okay, here we go. I try not to look back on things that went wrong. I try not to look back on things that went wrong. Basically, you're saying I try not to think of the things that went wrong in the past. I try not to return my thoughts, okay, and focus on the negative things, my past regrets. I try not to look back on things that went wrong. Okay, those are all for our patterns and, of course, vocab words. Practice today's expressions. More on your own.